All right, everyone, we are back at it in the Steam Zone. It's another remote episode. I'm here in frigid old Brooklyn. Ben, where are you?
Burning up in Austin, Texas, having a lot of fun at this Fed Supernova conference, meeting a lot of cool people, having a lot of cool discussions, both inside the room, some of which I'm sure we'll get to, and outside the room, learning a lot. But really pumped, as usual, to see the energy in the room for Eco that we're talking about today.
I'm not sure what room you're referring to, but it looks like we are inside your hotel room right there. I don't know. We want to know everything that's going on there. Let's keep this PG-13. We got a broad demographic here today, Ben. We got some good topics across the ecosystem. A couple of guests. We got a job of the week coming up from D-Drone. We got a pretty cool job from D-Drone. Excited to get to that. But let's start right there where you are, Austin, Texas, Fed Supernova. What do they call it? Where the center of gravity of federal supernovas in Texas? I don't know. Somewhere, a lot's going on. What have you been up to today, Ben?
Talking to everybody from government people in the innovation world, to really cool startups that are doing really interesting things, figuring out how they're going to get their stuff to the DoD, the classic valley of death. Something missing from the conferences we're still not seeing, I think, as much. They're getting better, but the traditional people within the POs that are making these decisions, that detail is missing from our innovation ecosystem. And I think it is the key detail that will determine whether this whole defense tech world is ultimately a success. But that doesn't mean...
Isn't there a ground stop, Ben? Isn't there like a ground stop on DoD traveling for these conferences right now? They're not supposed to engage with
There were a lot of
think
DoD officials here.
No,
So I don't know the details there, but I think these are good events, right? And especially where you generate momentum and excitement for the industry, for the work. I spent some time on my own, going to the Army Software Factory, going to the Marine Corps Software Factory, and just leave really energized, seeing soldiers, seeing Marines, doing really cool stuff. A lot of it is in the area that I think I would love the defense tech ecosystem to think about, which is we've got drones galore. We've got a lot of cool, sexy stuff of autonomy, and those are important, and we need to win on that. But there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of work getting done and then not getting done because we don't have the focus around just what makes the Marines' life better day to day. What are the tools that are going to save them a couple hours here or there that when you aggregate together across an enterprise becomes really important? And I think the software factories are really knocking it out of the park there. I don't know the answer philosophically. You catch me on one day, I'll say one thing. Should software factories exist? Catch you on another. But I know there is the de jure and the de facto. The de jure, I don't know. We got to figure out what the role of a software factory is. What is the role of private companies? Who should develop software? But de facto, I think these people are doing really great work. That's important. And we need to continue making sure there are really great Marines, great soldiers, getting hands-on important code that is helping people just get better.
Software factories are a little bit of a controversial topic, Ben, right? There's some people who think these things should die. There's business has no government the government has no business building software. There's other people who are basically the other end of the spectrum saying we shouldn't be buying proprietary code from anybody. We have Marines, we have soldiers, we have sailors, we have airmen capable of building this stuff.
We got our
themselves.
Guardians in our Space Force. No,
we got Guardians. You can't forget the Guardians. We got Kobayashi Maru out there in California. They're building away. So maybe just lay down that argument. What's the most important argument on both sides of that? If you were going to straw man it,
this is Ben Jacobson's opinion, not the DoD's opinion. I think. One side is, listen, let's go to the Marine ethos. Every Marine is a rifleman, right? That is our core, right? And you get your rifle at boot camp, at OCS, and that thing is yours. You are tied to it, and that is your identity. Guess what? That is our identity. We don't make the rifles in the Marine Corps. We buy those things from a third party, from a private business. So at the very heart of our identity, the thing that makes us Marines, these rifles aren't something we make. And that doesn't hurt. So why is software different? I think is one argument. You don't need to make rifles. You don't need to make software. You need to be an expert user of it, right? You need to own it once it's made. But on the flip side, I think the argument could go, hey, you need to mod your rifle, right? You need to be able to take off your scope, add a PEC 15, add whatever you need to do, add your 203 grenade launcher. You need to know about the capabilities and limitations of your weapon so that you can modify it in an appropriate way to use it the best way. And so maybe there's a case there, I think, for software, which is I can't just have a rifle that I can't modify. I need to be able to use it. I need to be able to fix it. I need to be able to fix it when it jams so that I can keep firing. And so I think somewhere in the middle is probably the right answer. But I think hopefully that lays out at least how I think about those two things, which is, are we making rifles? Are we making code? Or you just need to modify the rifles? And what do we do? And how is software different?
I think it's spot on, this software thing. And one way it's different is that the business model is a little bit different. A rifle you buy one time, and then you might buy some other materials.
You haven't
Software,
heard of
you might be paying
rifle as a service?
You might be buying rifle as a service. We're waiting for the $1 billion startup rifle as a service. We're seeing drones as a service now. There's a business model around that. Software paying that monthly subscription fee and not being able to modify it, I think, is the root of this. Interestingly, Ben, I'm not a big panel guy, not a big conference guy, but if there was one panel I was going to go to if I were down in Austin, the thing that caught my eye was the Kessel Run, the U.S. Air Force software factory, did a post-mortem, right? The leaders of that software factory dating back to, I believe it was 2016, 2017, when it was first stood up, were all on stage together for the first time at this event. You were there in the audience. What stuck out to you? What did you take away from that postmortem?
And I'm sure we'll get into some of the details about the story. We're taking a step back. I think what an awesome moment that we have former, current people having a discussion about what works. And that's really important, that we are experimenting, that we are trying things. And maybe they work, maybe they don't. We'll let you be the decider. You'll hear the story soon. You'll get the postmortem, but hey, if we're discussing it, we're going to get better. And when we do the next thing, we're going to learn. And so having these discussions is really important.